The morning started quiet and cool, with a soft blue sky and a light breeze that moved the leaves on the street trees. Sam stood on his porch and took a deep breath. He had packed his small suitcase the night before. He had checked his passport, twice. He had placed his father's medicine list in the front pocket of his bag so he could show it to the doctor at the hospital. His father had called the previous evening. The voice was weak but warm. "Come if you can." His father had said, "I will feel better when you are here." Sam promised he would come. Today was that day. He rolled his suitcase to the gate and tapped the button to open it. The gate slid back with a smooth hum. He stepped out and looked toward the garage, already picturing the simple routine. Open the door, start the car, roll to the curb, meet the rideshare, head to the airport, and then to his father. He reached for the garage remote and pressed it. The door rose slowly, a metal curtain lifting inch by inch. He smiled. Everything was on time. Then his smile faded. A silver sedan sat across the mouth of his driveway, parked at an angle that made it impossible for his car to roll out. The sedan's tail almost touched the street. The nose touched the line of his garage apron. It was like a lid across a jar, simple and complete. He blinked and checked the street number on the curb. Again. Yes, it was his house. Yes, it was his driveway. The silver sedan did not belong to him. He took a quiet breath and looked around to see if someone was nearby, ready to jump in and move it. There was no one. He walked closer and saw a small air freshener swinging from the sedan's rearview mirror. He noticed a folded sunshade on the back seat. The car was locked. He checked for a note under the wiper. Nothing. On the curb, the paint read his address in neat white numbers. He glanced at his watch. He still had time, but not much. He pressed the rideshare app and saw the driver was 7 minutes away. He thought about his father again and felt the steady rise of urgency in his chest. Sam looked at the house next door. It belonged to Karen. She had a bright lawn sign that said "Be kind" and a neat row of potted flowers by the steps. He had waved to her many times. They were not close friends, but they had shared small talk about weather and mail and trash day. He walked to her door and pressed the bell. He waited. He pressed again. He could hear a chime inside the house. He listened for footsteps. The house stayed still. He took out his phone and called the number she had once given him to coordinate fence repairs. The call went to voicemail. He left a short, friendly message. "Hi, it's Sam from next door. I think your car is blocking my garage. I have a flight soon. Can you please move it? Thank you." He hung up and waited another minute. He pressed the bell again. Still nothing. He felt the time slipping away like water between fingers. He walked back to the sedan and took clear photos from several angles. The car in front of his garage, the curb number, the open garage door, and the distance to the street. He did not feel angry. Not yet. He felt careful. He told himself that details were helpful when people were stressed. Details could clear confusion. He sent the photos to his own email as backup and wrote a short subject line. "Driveway blocked, need to leave for airport." He did not send it to anyone else. He hoped he would not need to. The rideshare driver messaged that he was 3 minutes away. Sam looked at his own car, sitting ready in the garage, as if it were a calm animal behind a simple fence. He placed his suitcase beside it, then realized he could not even roll the suitcase out because the sedan blocked the pathway. He pulled the suitcase back into the house. He felt a flush of heat under his collar, but he kept his thoughts simple and steady. This is a problem. Problems have answers. Find the first answer. He returned to Karen's door and knocked again, this time a little louder. The morning air carried the sound farther. A curtain moved in her front window. He stepped back to make space. The door opened a few inches and Karen looked out. She wore a soft sweater and held a mug. Her expression was not unkind, but it was distant, like someone who is not yet fully awake. "Good morning," Sam said with a small smile. "Your car is in front of my garage. I have a flight to catch. Could you move it right now, please?" She blinked and looked past him toward the driveway as if she were watching a street she had never seen before. "Oh," she said. Just give me 10 minutes. She began to close the door. Please, Sam said, keeping his voice gentle. I really have to go now. My father is in the hospital. The rideshare is almost here. Karen nodded without much focus. 10 minutes, she repeated, and the door clicked shut. Sam stood for a moment, then looked at his watch. 10 minutes. He could wait 10 minutes. He texted the driver. Please wait a few minutes. Driveway blocked. I'm trying to fix it. The driver replied with a thumbs-up emoji. Sam walked back to his driveway. He checked his garage again as if there was some other path. There was not. He looked for Karen through the window. He could not see her now. He stood in the cool air and counted his breaths. 1, 2, 3. 2 minutes passed. 3, 4. A neighbor across the street, Mr. Patel, came out to get his newspaper. He saw Sam standing by the driveway and raised a hand. Sam waved back. Everything okay? Mr. Patel asked. Sam nodded because he did not want to spread worry. I'm waiting for a car to move, he said. I have a flight. Mr. Patel looked at the silver sedan and then at his watch. I hope she moves quickly, he said. Good luck. He went back inside. 5 minutes passed. 6. Sam rang the doorbell again, feeling a little sorry to press, but feeling time even more. The chime sounded inside. The door did not open. He sent another message to Karen. Hi, sorry to bother you. The driver is here now. I must go to the airport. Can you please move your car right away? He added a small prayer hand emoji without thinking. He watched the 3 dots of typing for a moment and then saw nothing. The typing dots vanished. No reply came. The rideshare car turned the corner and stopped by the curb. The driver, a man, in his 40s with kind eyes, rolled down his window. Sam? He called. Yes, that's me, Sam said. He walked over and explained in simple words. My neighbor parked across my driveway. I'm trying to get her to move. I'm really sorry. The driver nodded. I can wait a little, he said. But the app only allows a short wait before it cancels. Maybe we can adjust pickup nearby. Sam looked at the silver sedan again. I can't get my suitcase out, he said. It's inside the garage. 7 minutes passed. Sam's heart tapped faster. He could feel his father's weak voice in his mind. Come if you can. I will feel better when you are here. He called. Karen again. Voicemail. He rang the bell. No answer. He considered leaving the suitcase and going with just his backpack, but he had his father's medicine list and a small gift inside the suitcase. He had also placed his jacket there because the plane would be cold. The thought of showing up to the hospital without the small gift made him sad in a way that surprised him. He tried one more polite note. He found a sticky pad in his pocket. The kind he used to remind himself to take out the trash on Tuesdays. He wrote in big, clear letters, Please move your car. I have a flight now. Thank you, Sam, next door. He placed the note on Karen's door, not on her car because he did not want to touch someone else's vehicle. He stepped back and took another breath. The air smelled like cut grass and laundry soap. He listened. He could hear a distant dog bark. He could hear nothing from Karen's house. 8 minutes. The driver glanced at his phone. 2 more minutes before the app cancels, he said softly, like someone who did not want to add to a storm. Sam nodded. He did not blame the driver. He would not blame anyone, he decided. Blame did not open gates or move cars or heal fathers. Action did. He took out his phone to consider other rides, other options, other routes. He could try to roll the suitcase under the sedan's front bumper, but there was not enough space. He could try to carry the suitcase over the lawn and out the side gate, but the side gate was narrow and locked with a key inside his kitchen drawer. 9 minutes. Sam pressed the doorbell one last time. He spoke through the door in a calm voice that carried without anger. Karen, I respect your time. I also need to respect mine. I must go to the airport. Please move your car now. He waited. The door opened a few inches again. Karen's eyes appeared in the gap. I said 10 minutes, she said in the same distant tone. I'm getting ready. It has been 9, Sam said, still gentle. Please now. She sighed. Fine, she said. 10 minutes. Then the door closed once more. 10 minutes arrived and passed. The door stayed shut. The silver sedan stayed still. The rideshare app chimed and canceled the trip. The driver gave Sam an apologetic look, then waved and pulled away because he had to follow the app's rules. Sam watched the car go, then looked back at the quiet street, the closed door, and the blocked driveway. He stood very still, holding his phone, feeling the weight of time and the pull of the airport, and the wish to do things the right way, with kindness and care and records. He took one more photo of the scene, saved it with the others, and told himself with certainty that he would not let this small, stubborn problem keep him from his father. From the side window, a curtain moved again. Karen's face appeared for a second, then disappeared. The house settled into silence. The sedan glinted in the soft morning sun. Sam slipped his phone into his pocket and made a quiet pee. Sam stood in the driveway and watched the rideshare taillights turn the corner and disappear. The street grew quiet again. The silver sedan still sat like a lid across his garage. He took a slow breath and told himself to stay calm. Calm minds find doors where angry minds see only walls. He pulled out his phone and called the non-emergency tow number he found online for private driveways. A cheerful voice answered and asked for his address. He gave it. The dispatcher asked if the vehicle owner had permission to park there. No, Sam said, steady and clear. I do not know why the car is here. I have asked my neighbor to move. She said 10 minutes, it has been longer. The dispatcher explained the general steps. They needed a clear photo of the car blocking the driveway, a proof that he was the property owner, and, if possible, a notice asking the driver to move. The dispatcher also said there might be a short wait period required by local rules before the tow could start. I have photos, Sam said. I can send them. He sent 4 photos to the email the dispatcher gave him. He also texted a screenshot of his property tax bill to show he owned the home. The dispatcher thanked him for being organized. She sounded kind, which helped a little. Then she said, "We can place you in the queue, but there may be a wait." Sam looked at his watch. He was not angry at the dispatcher. She was doing her job. He simply felt time running faster, like a river after rain. "Please put me in the queue," he said. "I have to get to the airport, but I will leave a contact number with my neighbor in the HOA." He hung up and opened the airline app. A new alert appeared. The first flight was still on time, but a gate change had moved it to the other end of the terminal. He pictured the long walk with his small suitcase, the quiet beep of the check-in machine, the bright screen that would ask for his last name. He felt a steady pull inside, a strong thread tied to his father's hospital bed. He whispered in his head, "I'm coming, Dad. I'm coming." Sam walked to Karen's door again and pressed the bell. He did not lean on it. He did not pound. He simply pressed and waited. The chime sounded inside, gentle and musical. Nothing more happened. He pressed again, and then a third time. The curtain in the front window moved once, then stilled. He spoke through the door in a kind voice. "Karen, I called a tow company because I must leave. If you open the door now and move the car, I will cancel it, please." He waited. No answer came. He walked back to his driveway and checked his doorbell camera. He adjusted the angle so it saw both his garage and the street. He opened the HOA app on his phone and typed a short message to the neighborhood board. "Driveway blocked by neighbor's car, documenting for records. I have a flight to catch. Please advise." Within a minute, the HOA president replied, "I'm sorry, Sam. Please keep taking photos. We will reach out to her and issue a warning and fine. If the car is on your driveway or blocking it, you have the right to call towing." The message was helpful and calm. He took a screenshot and saved it with the other files. Mr. Patel stepped outside again, now with a bag for his morning walk. He looked over and saw Sam on his phone. He crossed the street with small, quick steps. "Any luck?" he asked. Sam shook his head. Not yet, he said. I called towing. There may be a wait. Mr. Patel nodded and looked at the car. He nodded again at the neat white curb number. If you need me to say what I saw, I will, he said. I saw your garage open. I saw the car blocking. I saw you ring her bell and wait. Sam smiled a little. Thank you, he said. Your words help. His phone buzzed again. It was a text from his brother David. At the shop, how is Dad? Sam typed quickly. Going to the airport. Delay here. Neighbor blocked driveway. David called at once. Blocked? Do I need to come over? Sam looked at the silver sedan, the quiet house, the soft morning light making the paint shine. He thought about asking his brother to rush here, but David had their small workshop to open, and customers who needed repairs. Let me try one more thing first, Sam said. If I cannot solve it in 10 minutes, I will call you back. He opened his garage and looked around at the things that made up his steady life. The bench where he fixed small metal parts for neighbors, the careful shelves, the labeled bins. He had learned long ago that order in a workspace gives order in the mind. He set his suitcase by the side wall and pulled out a clipboard. On it was a blank sheet. He began to write a simple timeline, 7 rows a.m., found car blocking driveway. 7:03, rang neighbor's bell, left message. 7:10, neighbor said 10 minutes. 7:20, no movement, called towing. He wrote each step with clear numbers, left space for more, and took a photo of the page. It felt a little like building a small bridge across a river. Each plank was a fact. Each nail was a time. He checked the airline app again and saw a small orange bar under the flight number, the one that always made people sit up a little straighter. He tapped it. Gate closes at scheduled time, the screen warned. Arrive early. He swallowed. He thought about calling the airline to ask for a later flight, but he also thought about his father's face and the way his father's hand felt the last time he held it, warm and dry, with a small tremble. He wanted to be there on time, not just for the doctor, but for the quiet moment when a son sits by a bed and says, I'm here. The tow dispatcher called back. We have your request, she said, and your photos. A truck can reach you in about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic. Sam thanked her. He did not ask her to hurry. He knew she could not change the roads. He sent a brief note through the HOA app. Tow on the way, estimated 30 to 40 minutes. The HOA president replied, Understood. We will also contact her. Document any conversations. Sam took another breath and walked to Karen's door again. He placed a fresh note, even clearer than the first. Tow truck scheduled. Please move your car now, and I will cancel it. I must go to the airport to see my father. Thank you, Sam. He then took a photo of the note on the door and returned to the driveway. He felt the bar of worry inside his chest grow tight, but he kept his face relaxed. He thought about something. His father used to say when they fixed small things around the house, measure twice, cut once, and if it still doesn't fit, breathe twice, think once more. 10 more minutes passed. The street stayed quiet. A bird hopped on the sidewalk and then flew to the power line. Somewhere down the block, a lawn sprinkler started and tapped out, a soft rhythm. Sam opened the backyard gate and walked to the side of his house. He checked the old side path that cut to the street. The gate was narrow, made of wood, and locked with a simple latch on the inside. If he took the hinge pins out, he could swing the gate. He bent to look closer. The old screws were stripped from rain. He could fix them later, but not fast enough now. He returned to the driveway, and his mind began to turn in a new way, not just about leaving, but about returning. If he left the wide street today with the driveway easy to block, what would happen while he was gone? Would another car slide into that space? Would the same thing happen next week, on his way back from the hospital, tired and quiet and needing rest? He did not want to fight. He wanted a simple, clean boundary that would speak for itself even when he was not home. He looked at the thin line where his driveway met the sidewalk. He knew property lines. He had measured them when he poured a new strip of concrete 2 years earlier, carefully checking the city map. He also knew small metal posts and sleeves. He had installed them for clients who needed to keep their private parking space open. In his workshop behind the bench, he had a short steel post with a base sleeve he had used in a demonstration. It could be set at the edge of a driveway, locked in place when needed and unlocked when not needed. A simple, honest tool. No harm to anyone. Just a clear message. Please keep this space open. His phone buzzed again. It was David. Update? His brother asked. Sam spoke briefly. Tow is coming, but it may be too late for this flight. I am thinking of installing a small removable post on my side of the line so the driveway stays clear while I'm gone. David listened and said, That's smart. You have the kit at the shop? Sam nodded, then realized his brother could not see him. Yes, he said. I have a post here too. David paused. I can drive over with tools, he said. We can make it fast. Sam looked again at the silent door and the still car. He felt a mix of grief and grit. Let me try first, he said. If I need you, I'll call, thank you. He went back into the garage and pulled the small steel post from the shelf. He held it in both hands. It was not heavy, just strong. He measured the distance from the corner of the driveway to the spot where a post would keep a car from sliding, across the entrance. He marked the spot with a piece of chalk. He did not drill or set anything yet. He simply stood and looked at the chalk mark, thinking. He did not want to be unfair. He did not want to do anything that would be seen as unkind. He wanted a solution that would keep the driveway clear and speak in a neutral voice, even when he was far away. Sam stepped back to the street and checked the sky. The blue had brightened and the sun touched the tops of the trees. He opened the airline app one more time. A notification blinked. Boarding begins in 45 minutes. He swallowed. He could still make it if everything moved right now. He typed a final text to Karen. I am installing a small removable post on my side to keep my driveway clear while I'm away. Sam stood in the quiet driveway with the chalk mark at his feet and the silver sedan still lying across the mouth of his garage like a careful lid. He understood that anger would not help him now. Clear work would. He walked into the garage and moved with the same steady rhythm he used at his shop. He opened the metal cabinet, took out a small case with drill bits, a short ground sleeve, a sturdy steel post, a cap, a small portable welder, welding gloves, safety glasses, and ear protection. He set everything on a rolling cart and wheeled it to the front of the garage. He checked the time, he checked the sky. He checked his breath in and out until his hands felt quiet again. Before he touched anything, he looked at the scene with a builder's eye. He stepped to the curb and drew a simple sketch in his head. If he placed the post just inside his property line at the edge of the driveway, it would create a clear barrier for future cars trying to slip across the entrance. It would not touch the neighbor's car. It would not trap anyone. The sedan could back straight into the street and leave. He even measured the turning path with his eyes. 2 small steps to the right, 3 steps back, a clean arc into the lane. He imagined a driver following that path and finding it easy. That made him feel better. A boundary should be clear and fair, not a trick. He put on his safety glasses and ear protection and knelt by the chalk mark. He used a hammer drill to make the first hole for the anchor. The sound began as a sharp buzz and settled into a steady beat. He kept the drill straight and pressed gently, letting the tool work. Dust lifted white and soft like fog, then fell to the ground in a neat ring. He paused, brushed the hole clean, and checked the depth with a small gauge. He moved to the second hole, then the third, working in a triangle pattern that would keep the sleeve firm. He did not rush. He thought about his father when they used to fix the porch steps. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The words rode in his ear like a calm song. He set the sleeve in place and tapped it down carefully with a rubber mallet. The top sat flush with the concrete, the edges clean. He slid in the short steel post and felt it click into place. The post rose like a simple exclamation point. Nothing dramatic, just clear. He tightened the anchors with a hand wrench until they were snug. He gave the post a solid push. It did not shift. He wrapped his hand around it and tugged. It stayed true, He nodded to himself, then wiped the small dust ring with a damp cloth so the area looked neat. Next, he took out the smooth cap that fit over the post locking point. The design allowed a lock, but he was leaving for the airport and did not want a small padlock key lost in his pocket miles away. He made a careful choice. He would tack weld the cap in 2 tiny points, enough to keep anyone from pulling the post out by hand while he was away, but easy to remove later with proper tools. He pulled on his welding gloves, flipped down the face shield, and checked the wind. The air was still. He placed the cap, held it steady, and touched the welder to the seam for a heartbeat. A small, bright spark, then a second. He waited for the metal to cool and tapped the cap. It held. He tried to twist it with his hands. It stayed firm. He relaxed his shoulders. He stepped back again and looked at the car, the post, the open sky. He double-checked that his placement would not block the sedan from backing out. There was space, there was a clear path. He took a set of photos from different angles. The post's position on his side of the property line, the distance to the curb, the car's angle, the clean edge of the driveway. He saved the images to a folder labeled Driveway, Post Install, Date, Time. He had learned that a neat folder can save a person a lot of worry later. He pulled a plastic sleeve from his cart, slid in a printed sheet, and wrote a short message with a black marker in big, friendly letters. Removable driveway post installed on owner's property to keep entrance clear while away. If there is an emergency, please call these numbers. He added the HOA office line, the HOA president's cell and David's cell. He zip-tied the sleeve to the post at eye level. He also taped the same message on his front door. He took pictures of both notes, then added one more small line to the door note. I will return in a few days. Thank you for understanding. His phone buzzed. It was a message from the HOA president. Understood. You are within your rights to install a removable post on your driveway. Thank you for documenting. Sam replied. Photos saved. Leaving. Contact info on site. Another buzz. David. Leaving the shop now. I'll pick you up so you don't lose more time. Sam felt a rush of gratitude. He wrote back, Thank you, I'm ready in 5. Before he closed the garage, he looked at the sedan one more time. He decided to send Karen a final, quiet message. I've installed a removable post on my driveway edge so it stays clear while I'm away. It does not touch your car and does not block you from backing out into the street. Please move your car when you can. HOA and my brother's numbers are on the post if you need help. He pressed send. The small paper airplane icon slid across his screen and disappeared. He rolled his cart back into the garage and put everything away. He turned off the welder, coiled its cable, and placed his gloves back on the hook where they lived. He looked around to make sure nothing was left out. The neat bench, the labeled bins, the swept floor, these small things steadied him. He closed the garage door, feeling the familiar hum. He lifted his suitcase, carried it along the front walk, to avoid the blocked apron, and set it beside the sidewalk. He never liked to drag wheels across the lawn. The grass had its own quiet dignity. David's old pickup turned the corner and stopped at the curb. He jumped out with a quick smile and open arms. You okay? He asked. Sam nodded. I'm okay, thank you for coming. David took the suitcase, placed it in the truck bed, and helped Sam into the passenger seat. Before they pulled away, Sam pointed at the post and the note. If anything happens, you can open it with tools. There's space in the sleeve for a release. David nodded, serious now. I've got it, go see Dad. They drove toward the airport in easy traffic. The city hummed to life around them. Buses, bikes, a bakery setting out fresh bread that made the whole block smell warm. In the cab of the truck, the brothers did not talk much. They did not need to. The road said enough. At a red light, Sam watched the small picture-in-picture view on his phone from the doorbell camera. The driveway sat quiet. The post stood straight. The silver sedan glowed a little in the sun. The image made him breathe easier. At the drop-off, David hugged Sam once, quick and firm. Call me when you land, he said. Sam nodded. And thank you. He walked into the terminal with his small suitcase rolling behind him. He checked the time, moved to the kiosk, and printed his boarding pass. The line for security looked long, but steady. He joined it, took off his shoes, and placed his bag in a gray bin. He could feel the old familiar airport rhythm working on him, smoothing the sharp edges of the morning. Shuffle, pause, move forward, breathe, repeat. While he waited, his phone buzzed again. Motion detected. Front door. He tapped the alert. The camera showed Karen stepping out of her house. She wore sunglasses and a light cardigan. She stood with her hands on her hips and looked at the post. She walked to it, bent, and read the note. Her head tilted. She tried to twist the post with both hands. It did not move. She set her hands at her sides and paced a small circle, as if her thoughts were walking with her. She took out her phone and made a call. Sam couldn't hear the audio from that far, but he could read body language. Karen's jaw moved fast. She gestured toward the post, then toward the car, then up at the camera as if the camera were a person. She looked frustrated, maybe embarrassed too. He understood that feeling. He had felt it earlier when the rideshare canceled, when the door stayed shut. He watched without judgment. He only hoped everything would stay calm. The line parted around him and then closed again. He moved his bins onto the belt and walked through the scanner. His phone buzzed a second time. Motion detected. Front door. He tapped the screen again and saw 2 police officers walking up the sidewalk with easy, careful steps. They wore calm faces that looked almost like Sunday morning. Karen spoke to them and pointed at the post and the sedan. One officer nodded. The other took notes. The camera view sometimes caught the officer's pen moving, sometimes caught a small smile, the kind that says, "We will look, and we will think." Sam felt his chest go tight, and then relax. He reminded himself, the post is on your property. The car is blocking your driveway. You took photos. You left clear contact information. You did not touch the car. You did not raise your voice. You have done this the right way. He placed his phone face down on the little round table by the security exit and put his shoes back on. He found a chair near the gate and called David. "Police are there," he said. "Can you be my voice if they need someone on site?" David said, "I'm already turning around." Sam heard the truck engine hum. "I'll explain the post. I'll show them the sleeve and the release. I'll bring the HOA messages." Sam let out the breath he did not know he was holding. "Thank you," he said again. As boarding began, Sam took one last look at the camera feed. The officers had moved closer to the post. One of them pointed at the note sleeve and the numbers listed. The other officer nodded and tapped a message into a phone. Karen stood with her arms folded, then unfolded them, then put one hand. David parked a short distance from the house and took a calm breath before walking up the sidewalk. He carried a small tool bag in one hand and a folder of printed messages in the other. The street felt steady, like a quiet stage waiting for a gentle scene to play out. 2 police officers stood by the driveway speaking softly with Karen. The removable post stood straight at the edge of the driveway and the silver sedan still sat across the garage apron. David raised his hand in a small greeting as he approached. "Good morning," he said. "I'm David, Sam's brother." One officer turned with a friendly nod. "Morning," he said. "I'm Officer Alvarez and this is Officer Chen. We got a call about a blocked driveway and a post that someone can't move." David smiled a little. "Thank you for coming," he said. "The post is on my brother's property line. It has a sleeve that allows removal with tools. He left a note with contact numbers, including mine." He held up the folder. "I also have the HOA messages and time-stamped photos if that helps." The officers' faces relaxed even more. Calm information often does that. Karen folded her arms and spoke in a quick voice. "He put a metal post to trap my car," she said. "How am I supposed to leave?" David kept his tone even. "The post does not trap your car," he said kindly. "Your car can back into the street in one smooth arc. The post is only to stop anyone from blocking the entrance in the future. My brother needed to travel today to see our father in the hospital. He tried to reach you and called a tow, then chose this so we can all avoid damage or rush. He pointed to the open street. There is enough room. Officer Chen crouched by the base of the post and read the note again. He traced the edge of the concrete with one finger and looked at the sleeve. Removable with proper tools and ID, he read aloud. He stood and nodded to his partner. It's on the property, he said. It's not on the sidewalk, it's not a city post. It's a private driveway boundary. Officer Alvarez turned to David. Do you have the tools and a way to remove this safely? David lifted the bag. Yes, he said. I can pop the tack welds and open the cap without damage. I'll do it in front of you. Before starting, David handed over the folder. Inside were printed screenshots. Sam's photos of the sedan blocking the garage, the messages to the HOA, the note placed on Karen's door, and the timestamp of the tow request. There was also a simple timeline written in Sam's neat handwriting. Officer Alvarez flipped through the pages and nodded slowly. He turned one sheet so Karen could see the times. Looks like he rang the bell, called, left notes, and waited, he said in a gentle, neutral voice. We appreciate that he documented everything. That helps us all. The HOA president, Ms. Lee, walked up with a clipboard and an easy smile, breath showing she had hurried a little. Sorry I'm late, she said. I came as soon as I saw the message. She greeted the officers and introduced herself to Karen and David. We have a rule about blocking driveways, she explained softly. We also have a process for reminders and fines. The goal is not to punish, but to keep peace on the street. She tapped the clipboard. We'll handle our part. For now, let's help clear the way. David put on safety glasses and gloves. He set a small mat on the concrete so his tools wouldn't scratch the surface. He took out a compact rotary tool and a slim chisel designed for light tack welds. I'll be careful, he said to the officers. 2 tiny tacks at the cap, that's all. Officer Chen stood nearby, watching with a calm, protective posture. David made 2 gentle passes, soft and precise. The cap loosened with a mild click. He lifted it, showed the officers the clean edge, and set the cap on the mat. Done, he said. No damage. He slid a release pin inside the sleeve, turned it with a small key, and lifted the steel post out of its base. The space felt suddenly open, like a simple door had swung wide. David placed the post on the mat and stepped back. The driveway is clear now, he said. Ma'am, he added kindly to Karen, you can back straight out into the street. There's room. I'll spot you from the side if you want. For a moment, Karen looked uncertain, then she nodded. All right, she said softly. Thank you. David moved to a safe position near the sidewalk where both officers could see him. He raised one hand and gave simple hand signals. Wheel straight, he called in a clear, calm tone. Slow. Keep coming. The sedan eased back, smooth and steady. Turn a little, he said. Good, you're clear. In less than a minute, the car rested by the curb, seated neatly like a book pushed into place on a shelf. David gave a small thumbs up, and Officer Alvarez nodded with quiet approval. The air around the driveway felt lighter. Ms. Lee took a photo of the open driveway for the HOA record and another of the post lying on the mat. She turned to Karen and spoke gently, like a neighbor first and a board member second. We all make mistakes, she said, but blocking a neighbor's driveway even for a short time can cause real problems. Sam had a flight to see his father. He tried for quite a while to reach you. We'll issue a formal warning and fine per the rules. I'll also share a quick reminder to the whole street about keeping entrances clear. Karen looked down at her hands. Some color had risen in her face, not from anger now, but from regret. I thought it would be just a minute, she said in a quiet voice. I went inside to get something and lost track of time. When he knocked, I said 10 minutes, but I wasn't ready. I didn't know his father was sick. She took a breath. I should have moved right away. David nodded, kind but honest. Thank you for saying that, he said. He was worried and tried to be polite. He also wanted to leave things safe while he was gone. That's why he put the post Officer Chen wrote a brief note in his pad. "We're not here to take sides," he said gently. "We're here to help neighbors solve a moment." The car was blocking a private driveway. That's not allowed. The homeowner took careful, non-damaging steps, documented them, and left contact numbers. The removable post is legal on his property. You were able to move your car without harm. That's a good outcome. He handed a small card to Karen. "You may receive a citation for blocking a driveway. It's standard. You'll also get instructions on how to resolve it." Officer Alvarez turned to David. "Do you plan to reinsert the post?" he asked. David nodded. "Yes, but with the cap left unlocked and a small padlock later when Sam returns. For now, I'll put the post back so the base stays clean. If there's an emergency, I'm 2 minutes away." He slid the post back into the sleeve, left the cap off, and wiped the area so it stayed neat. He zip-tied the same clear note to the post again, owner's numbers, HOA number, and the line about emergency contact. He took a fresh photo for the record. A tow truck rolled slowly into view, then paused at the corner when the driver saw the scene looked settled. David waved him off with thanks. The driver smiled and left, relieved to avoid a tense call. Small kindnesses moved like soft ripples down the block. A neighbor across the street lowered his hand from his phone, no longer ready to record. A jogger slowed, saw that everyone looked calm, and ran on with an easy stride. The morning's tight knot was loosening. Ms. Lee walked the few steps to Karen, her voice still gentle. "If you're okay with it," she said, "I'd like to host a short note on the neighborhood app explaining the reminder. Not names, no blame. Just the rule and a simple message about being considerate." Karen hesitated, then nodded. "That's fine," she said. "I don't want any more trouble." Ms. Lee smiled. "Thank you. Also, we'll paint a thin, keep clear line at the mouth of driveways where cars tend to slide over. It helps. People see paint, they think twice." David looked at his watch and then at the sky. He pictured Sam already in the air, coffee on the small tray table, shoulders dropping as the engines set their steady music. He sent a quick text. "All good. Car moved. Police were kind. HOA present. Post legal. We'll call later." He added a small heart and a tiny airplane emoji, then put the phone away. He turned back to the officers. "Is there anything else you need from me?" he asked. Officer Alvarez shook his head. "Thank you for being prepared," he said. "You made this easy. Tell your brother safe travels, and best wishes for your father." Karen looked at the open driveway, and then at David. "I'm sorry," she said again, this time looking him in the eye. "I didn't mean to cause trouble, I was careless." David's answer was simple and human. "I accept that," he said. "Let's try to keep things clear from now on. If you need to load something one day, just send a quick text. We can coordinate. It's easier to plan than to fix." Karen nodded. "I will," she said. "Thank you." The officers took one last look around and made a few final notes. Body cameras blinked their quiet lights. They thanked everyone and walked back to their car with the same calm steps they had brought to the scene. Ms. Lee shook David's hand and promised to follow up with the reminder and the painted line. She also said she would check the HOA policy page to add a clear section about removable posts on private property, so no one would be confused in the future. When the small crowd drifted away, David knelt by the post and gave the sleeve a final check. He pressed the cap into place without welding it, just to keep rain out. He placed a small piece of tape over the cap with his initials and the date, so Sam would know he had been there. He stood, brushed dust from his knees, and looked at the driveway. It looked like a quiet promise, the kind you do not say out loud, but Sam landed in the late afternoon 2 days later. The sky looked soft and warm through the plane window, and the clouds seemed like calm sheep across the blue. The moment the wheels touched the ground, he felt a lightness in his chest. He had sat by his father's hospital bed, held his hand and shared small stories, the smell of the bakery on his street, the way sunlight sometimes made the garage shine, the kindness of a neighbor who waved with a hand over his heart. His father had smiled in a quiet way and squeezed his fingers. "I'm proud of you," his father had said. "You stayed calm. That's the important part." The words had settled inside Sam like a steady lamp. Now, as the plane rolled to the gate, he opened his phone and saw a new message from David. "All clear at home, driveway's open. Karen wants to talk when you return. HOA will arrange a safe, calm meeting. No rush." A rideshare driver picked him up with friendly music low on the radio. On the way, the driver asked the usual airport questions. Window up or down, too cold or too warm, any bags in the trunk? Sam answered softly and then let the city pass by his window like a movie with no sound. He saw a mural he had never noticed before, two hands passing a small seed from one palm to another. It felt like a sign, give and receive, and something new grows. The car turned onto his street. The driveway came into view, open and neat. The removable post stood at the edge like a quiet guard. A thin keep clear line had been painted by the apron, just a soft stripe that said, "Please respect this space." Someone had trimmed the strip of grass by the sidewalk, and the small note with contact numbers hung straight on the post, unbothered by wind. When Sam stepped out, Mr. Patel waved from across the street. "Welcome home," he called. "How is your father?" Sam crossed the street to speak. "He's better," he said, and his smile reached his eyes. "Thank you for asking. Thank you for being kind the other morning." Mr. Patel smiled back. "We're neighbors," he said. "That's what neighbors do." The words were simple, and they felt like a small warm blanket laid across a chair. That evening, Sam unpacked, watered his plants, and made a cup of tea. He stood at the window for a while and watched the soft light slide off the rooftops. His phone buzzed. It was Ms. Lee from the HOA. "Welcome back," her message read. "If you are ready, we can have a short, calm conversation tomorrow afternoon. No pressure. Karen is willing to come. She wants to apologize in person." Sam thought for a few seconds and typed, "Thank you. Tomorrow is fine." The next day, 4 people met at the small community table near the mailboxes: Sam, Karen, Ms. Lee, and David. The table was shaded by a young tree with bright leaves. A bird sang somewhere over the fence. Ms. Lee opened with the tone of someone caring for a garden. "We're here to keep our street peaceful," she said. "We'll keep the conversation simple, kind, and short. First, thank you, Sam, for documenting and staying calm. And thank you, Karen, for being willing to talk." Karen nodded and looked at Sam. Her voice was steady but quiet. "I'm sorry," she said. "I parked across your driveway thinking it was only for a minute. I went inside to get a file and I answered a call. I lost track of time. When you knocked, I said 10 minutes because I felt rushed and not ready. I should have moved my car at once. I didn't know about your father, but even if I didn't, no, I should not have blocked you. I'm sorry for the stress I caused." Sam listened without interrupting. When she finished, he spoke in a soft, even voice. "Thank you for saying that. I was worried about catching the flight. I wanted to do everything the right way. Ask you, take photos, call towing if needed. In the end, I chose the post so I could leave and still protect the driveway while I was gone. I'm not angry. I just need the entrance clear so I can live my life without surprises." Ms. Lee spread a simple handout on the table. It was one page with a small diagram at the top. "We've posted a reminder on the app," she said. "No names, just rules and reasons. We also added a helpful idea. If anyone ever needs to load or unload for a moment near a driveway, send a quick text to the neighbor and the HOA. If the neighbor agrees, great. If not, choose another spot. We can also lend small folding carts to make short carries faster. Good tools and clear messages stop many problems before they start," David added. "I've put a cap on the post and will switch to a simple lock that Sam can open with a key. It's removable in seconds. The goal is safety and clarity, not to keep anyone stuck." Karen took a breath and reached into her bag. She pulled out a small potted plant with green leaves shaped like hearts. "This is for you," she said to Sam. "It's a thank you for staying calm, and a sign I will do better." He accepted it with both hands, a little surprised by the softness of the gesture. "Thank you," he said. "It means a lot." She looked relieved and continued, I've also signed up to help Ms. Lee with the Keep Clear line projects. I can paint, and I can post reminders on the app with a kind voice. If we make it easier for everyone to do the right thing, they usually will. They talked a little more, not about rules, but about life. Sam told Karen what his father used to say. Measure twice, cut once, breathe twice, think once more. Karen smiled at that and repeated the line as if she wanted to remember it. Ms. Lee closed her folder and said, We're good here, let's keep this spirit. If anything comes up, we'll use words first, not heat. They all stood, shook hands, and walked back to their homes in the same soft shade. Over the next week, the neighborhood felt different in small ways. A delivery van paused near Sam's driveway one morning. The driver rolled down his window, read the friendly note on the post and the thin painted line, and then pulled a little farther forward to leave space. He waved at Sam and gave a quick thumbs up. On the app, Ms. Lee's reminder stayed at the top. People added stories about times they had moved quickly for each other. One person shared a picture of a cart they kept by their door for heavy bags. Another posted a short list of neighbor words that always help. Can I help? Do you need a minute? Thank you. The thread was bright and calm, like a neat path in a park. Sam upgraded the post on a quiet Saturday. He removed the old tack points, sanded the cap edge so it felt smooth, and attached a small weather-safe lock. He replaced the paper note with a clean metal tag that read, Please keep driveway clear. Emergency? Call Sam or the HOA, with both numbers etched below. He stood back and looked at it. It said what he needed. Not a shout, just a steady sentence. David watched from the porch with a cup of tea. It looks good, he said. It looks like peace. Sam nodded. It feels like a promise. Karen followed through on her offer too. The next weekend, she helped Ms. Lee paint thin, keep clear lines at two corners where guests often parked too close. She worked carefully, taping edges and cleaning brushes, and she posted a short, friendly note. Fresh lines today. Thank you for leaving space so neighbors can come and go. People reacted with kind emojis and small thank yous. Actions have a way of speaking louder than long speeches. One late afternoon, Sam and Karen crossed paths by the mailboxes. They both paused, a little unsure, then smiled. Karen said, I saw your father's update. I'm glad he's stronger. Sam's eyes warmed. Thank you. He says to tell you he appreciates that we solved the problem with steady steps. She laughed softly. Steady steps. I like that. There was a small, easy silence, the good kind. Then they both moved on, lighter than before. A few days later, the street faced a small test. A friend visited a neighbor for a birthday and parked close to Sam's driveway. Not across it, but close. Before anyone could worry, the neighbor sent a quick text to the group chat Ms. Lee had started. Hey team, small party here. We'll make sure driveways are clear. A minute later, the visiting friend repositioned the car with a wave. No one argued. No one posted a complaint. The problem dissolved before it formed. It felt like rain that stopped at the window and never came in. That evening, Sam sat at his kitchen table and wrote a short letter to his father. He told the whole story in simple lines. The blocked driveway, the careful photos, the post, the plane, the police officers, the apology, the plant with heart-shaped leaves. He wrote, I tried to be firm and fair at the same time. He added, the street feels calmer now. People will still make mistakes, but we have better ways to fix them. He sealed the letter, put a stamp on it, and placed it by the door, to mail in the morning. Before bed, he stepped outside and stood by the driveway. The air was cool. The post stood where it should. The thin line of paint caught a little moonlight. A cat walked along the opposite fence like a quiet shadow. From the end of the block, someone laughed in a soft, happy way. Life had returned to its gentle rhythm. He thought about what the last few days had taught him. That being calm is not being weak. It is being clear. That a boundary can be a kind thing when it is fair and explained. That neighbors are not perfect, but most want to do right when given a clear path. He looked at the plant Karen had given him, now in a clay pot by the porch. The small leaves moved in a breeze he could not feel. He reached down and touched one with his fingertip. "Grow well," he said softly, and the leaf bounced back with a tiny spring. He smiled. The next morning, Sam saw a new post on the neighborhood app. Ms. Lee had pinned a short, bright message. "Thank you for keeping driveways open. Thank you for using gentle words. Thank you for showing that respect is not complex."